We're less than 7 days to the release of Forza Motorsport 7 for Ultimate Edition owners via Early Access, and the hype has truly risen. We had the release of the free demo on Tuesday, as well as the stunning launch trailer which is currently playing in the video, but today we have a lot of news to dive into for Forza Motorsport 7, and this stuff is extremely important. Sit back, relax, and make sure you grab a drink and something to eat, because there's a ton of new information to talk about. Not only do we know how car divisions work within the game, thanks to the new Homologation system, but Turn 10 has also detailed the Forza Rewards that will be available to players from launch, as well as a number of changes to the program that make it more accessible. This was all revealed in the latest Forza Motorsport Weekend review, which has been linked in the description below. In Forza Motorsport 7, Turn 10 wants to ensure that all events feature a wide range of cars that are competitive with one another, be it in single player or online multiplayer. Homologation is the process of upgrading or downgrading each car in the grid, using strict performance regulations that even the playing field and ensure cars in the same division are always competitive with one another. It makes cars not only eligible in racing competitions in Forza Motorsport 7, but also highly competitive. That leaves the choice of which car to use in events not between a mere handful of leaderboard cars, which have been a dominant issue in the franchise before. Homologation puts the choice in the hands of the player and their individual preferences, and from the start, it's quite different to the car class system we had in previous Forza Motorsport titles. Like in the past, the car class and performance index remained the backbone of the system. However, in previous games, players had numerous ways to reach a certain performance level. For example, they could boost the horsepower to absurd levels, even if the car only had skinny tires. Turn 10 says these types of scenarios became extreme boundary cases, which make extreme peaks and valleys in performance within any given class, and often led to these so-called leaderboard cars. Forza Motorsport 7 will instead challenge players to tune it to homologation standards across multiple performance characteristics beyond the typical performance index, or PI as it's more typically known as. This approach will naturally limit the most extreme boundary cases, and therefore tighten the competitive set of cars that are found within Forza Motorsport 7. All of the 714 Forza Vista cars in the game each fall into a specific division. For example, the Porsche 911 GT2 RS is part of the Exotic GT division, while the 2017 Ford Focus RS falls into the Modern Hot Hatch division. Naturally, both of these cars represent different levels of performance, and as with all cars in the game, they can be tuned to performance peaks that are beyond their stock form. Homologation comes into play when it's time to hit the track for a new race event, and this applies in both the Forza Drivers Cup single-player campaign and in multiplayer events created by Turn 10, such as leagues and hoppers. Cars will be homologated to certain performance standards based on their division. These divisions can be applied in free play and private lobbies as well, but are optional. These homologation standards will be across several performance characteristics, including tire compound, tire width, horsepower, and performance index. In order for a particular car to compete in a homologated event, it will need to meet the performance standards inherent to that event. So, for example, an event in the Exotic GT series might only allow sport tire compounds with a maximum tire width of 355, a maximum of 750 horsepower, and a PI ceiling of 800. While cars can and will fall under those performance caps, any build that exceeds those numbers will not be eligible to compete. Let's break it down even further and show how it'll look in Forza Motorsport 7. As shown in the screenshot, which features the 2002 Chevrolet Camaro 35th Anniversary Super Sport, a car that is classified in the Sport Touring Icons division, the homologation restrictions for racing within that division call for a street tire compound, with tire width not to exceed 305. In addition, there's a horsepower cap of 500 horsepower and an overall PI requirement of 575. The build shown exceeds these homologation standards in 3 different areas: tire width, horsepower, and the overall PI. Whilst the player can continue to build this car to their heart's content, in order to race with this Camaro within its homologated division, the tire width will need to be lowered, and the racing engine block will need to be removed from the vehicle. In addition, Turn 10 has introduced a new auto-homologate feature to Forza Motorsport 7, which is designed for players who aren't expert tuners. Think of it as auto-upgrade, but for tuning and homologated events instead. This allows for any vehicle you own to be easily brought up to competition standards. With just a press of a button, you can quickly and easily bring up a vehicle up to spec and compete it in a particular event. What's even better is that all homologation necessary parts are automatically included in the price of the car at purchase, meaning you won't need to spend extra credits to go racing in your new ride. That's pretty sweet if I say so myself. For those players who want some finer control over how they bring their cars to homologation standards, you'll always have a clear understanding of what the homologation restrictions are for an event, thanks to a handy screen that displays the event restrictions and your car's current settings. You'll have the flexibility to adjust your car upgrades, and you'll get immediate feedback if your performance crosses an event threshold. Don't worry, all the upgrade and tuning features you know and love from Forza Motorsport 6 will still be present in Forza Motorsport 7. Despite the homologation system forcing all cars within a division to be competitive, it doesn't mean that they will all behave precisely the same way. Cars in Forza Motorsport 7 will continue to feel completely unique as fans expect them to, and this includes the highly complex characteristics such as a chassis flex, suspension architecture, wheelbase, and the moment of inertia. Certain cars within homologated events will be better for specific tasks, like for example, horsepower will be the king on speed tracks like Daytona and Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Overall, homologation in Forza Motorsport 7 means players will have more cars to choose from within each division they play in. Instead of having a handful of go-to cars per class, Turn 10 is encouraging players to build a garage full of event-specific rides that are just waiting for their turn on the track. Turn 10's community manager Brian Ekberg said, "The introduction of homologation in Forza Motorsport 7 is an important evolution to our racing standards in Forza, and a feature that we believe all players will benefit from, regardless of their skill level and experience." However, homologation wasn't the only thing talked about for Forza Motorsport 7. Forza Rewards, the long-running loyalty program for the franchise, is receiving some upgrades ahead of next week's Ultimate Edition release. In Forza Rewards, every player has a tier level. Tier levels are attained by playing Forza games and achieving certain milestones. These include driving a certain number of miles or reaching a certain driver level. These feats earn you points for your Forza score. The higher your Forza score total, the higher your tier level. As your tier level increases, so too does the rewards you can earn in Forza games. With the release of Forza Motorsport 7, Turn 10 are adding a new tier level, which is Tier 12, and this will be worth a total of 3,000 Forza score points. As always, beginning with Tier 2, players can redeem a weekly credit bonus in various Forza games, which can be done using the Forza Hub app on Xbox One or Windows 10 PC, or the official Forza Motorsport website. So, here's a look at the weekly credit payouts in Forza Motorsport 7 per tier. As you can see, these offer credit payments from 25,000 all the way to $500,000 each week if you reach the highest tier. For the launch of Forza Motorsport 7, Turn 10 are also offering in-game bonus items based on each player's Forza Rewards tier level, including prize crates, badges, and driver gear suits. Here's a detailed breakdown of what you can expect, including some very rare Forza Motorsport game-themed racing suits that can be earned by all players. I don't know about you, but I have my eye on that super rare Forza Motorsport original Xbox driver gear, as well as the lovely orange one for Forza Motorsport 5. All of the rewards shown are cumulative. That means if you're a Tier 4 at the launch of Forza Motorsport 7, you'll receive the Forza Motorsport 7, Forza Horizon 3, and Forza Motorsport 6 driver suits, the Tiers 2 to 4 badges, and the 3 total prize crates. It's worth mentioning that there's no rewards for Tier 12 just yet, as that won't be possible to attain until the release of Forza Motorsport 7. Now, here's some Forza Rewards news that will truly please players. Based on fan feedback, Turn 10 has removed the token and DLC based milestones in the program going forward, and is instead choosing to focus on features that reward time invested in the game. In addition, the team has decided to retroactively reward maximum reward points for DLC and token based reward feats for players who have played each title. For example, if you've played Forza Horizon 2, the DLC and tokens feat scores will be automatically maxed out. This will go for all Forza games you've played. This is great news for players who missed out on those milestones for older Forza games, especially those which have reached end of life status where the DLC is no longer acquirable from the Xbox Store. So this affects games like Forza Motorsport 4 and the original Forza Horizon. Finally, Turn 10 has also revealed the full list of supported wheels for the Xbox One version of the game. These include popular models such as the Thrustmaster TX458 and the Logitech G920. These can be found on the screen now and also in the week in review linked below. Forza fans should be aware that Turn 10 is holding a debut livestream for Forza Motorsport 7 that will feature the full game on Wednesday, September 27th. They will be in the Forza studio and showcasing the Forza Drivers Cup single-player campaign, as well as the newly upgraded mod system, car collecting, and the game's roster of more than 700 Forza Vista cars. It will also welcome Turn 10 employees from all over the studio to celebrate the launch of the game. The show kicks off at 9 AM Pacific and will go all day and well into the evening, Turn 10 promises, and it will be streamed onto Mixer and Twitch. There we have it, all the latest on Forza Motorsport 7 before the early access launch of the Ultimate Edition on September 29th. I'll have much more on Forza Motorsport 7 leading up to its release and beyond, so make sure to remain subscribed to the channel for all the latest news and more, and be sure to drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Meanwhile, if you haven't already, be sure to check out my Forza 7 preview linked in the description below, and let me know your thoughts on the homologation system and the Forza Rewards changes in the comments below. Until next time, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you later. Bye!